Shalom, family and friends. And on today, the topic of discussion is concerning the issues of blood, dealing with Israelite women of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So the topic of discussion again is the issues of blood. I am your host, Shabar Israel. Please share this video with family and friends if you will. You can subscribe to my channel as well. Help support the movement. All praises to the Most High and His Son. You understand? Kwam Yasha'Allah, rise Israel. So I'm going to put some things out here that you may have never entered and understood about a woman entering what you would call her menstrual cycle or her period. Now, the reason why they call it menstrual cycle, you cannot spell menstrual cycle without men. So actually, when a woman enters her menstrual cycle, she becomes a man. Now, the menstrual cycle can last up to who knows how many days. Some people, some individuals concerning the woman, menstrual cycles is short and some menstrual cycles is long. But we know the menstrual cycle lasts for a couple of days. I want to say 6 or 7 days, maybe up to 9 to 10 days. We know that menstrual cycle can stick around on you women. But when you on that menstrual cycle and when you're going through that process, you are considered a man. Again, you can't spell menstrual cycle without men. So this is why concerning the Bible, biblical times, women, they was put outside the camp for a period of days. Because they was what? They was considered to be defiled, unclean, and things of that nature. Leviticus 20 and 18. Leviticus 20 and 18. If any man shall lie with a woman having her sickness, when it says that, it's talking about menstrual period. And if a man lie with a woman on her period or her menstrual cycle and shall uncover her nakedness, he has discovered her fountain, and she hath uncovered the fountain of her blood, and both of them shall be cut off from among the people. Now, why is it so outlawed for a man to lie with a woman on her sickness? Because that's like lying with another man. I'm giving you the sacred knowledge of this. It's like lying with another man when you lie with a woman on her sickness. A woman on her period is no usage to a man because sexually procreating is out the window. Sexual activity is out the window. You see? Because she's on her menstrual cycle. She's on a men cycle. You understand? She becomes a man to another man. And therefore she has to be set aside. She has to be isolated for a couple of days. Right? So if you're having sexual intercourse with a woman during her menstrual cycle, what you call her period, then you are basically, first and foremost, going against the laws of nature. And last, you are interacting, dealing with sexual impurity. All right? Leviticus 15:19. And it says, if a woman have an issue and her flesh be blood, it's talking about a menstrual cycle, because every young woman would end up going through this if they haven't done it already. So if a woman have an issue and her flesh be blood, the menstrual cycle, she shall be put apart 7 days. Whosoever touches her shall be unclean until the evening. So why in the hell that this woman has to be set apart 7 days? 7 means completion, because it's a period of completion. She shall be set apart 7 days. So whoever touches that woman in the midst of those 7 days shall be unclean. Why? Now, it's not talking about touching the actual woman, because a lot of you brothers go high and over heels with this. Oh, we can't touch this woman. You can touch the woman. It's talking about touching whatsoever the spillage of her blood encounters. You understand? You're not to be dealing with her concerning the spillage of her blood. Now it also goes on in Leviticus 15 and 20 and says, everything that she lieth upon in her separation, it shall be unclean. Everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. Now it's not talking about your lady go outside, your wife go outside, and she touches the car, now the car is unclean. She touches the tree in the yard, now the tree is unclean. You know, she have a tendency of let's say taking out the trash, and now she's touching the trash container, now the trash container is unclean. It's not talking about that. So what is it talking about? Whatsoever touch it, whatsoever thing she touched. It's talking about the spillage of the blood. Whatsoever the spillage of the blood encounters, whatsoever the spillage of the blood gets on, that now it's unclean because of the spillage of the issue of the blood. So now your truck is defiled if the spillage of the woman issue of blood encounters the truck, not her just literally touching the truck. Now the trash container is defiled if the spillage of the woman's issue of blood encounters and touches the trash can, not her actually touching it. You understand? Because we get crazy with this thing. Like now, my old lady, you know, she's on her period. You understand? And now I can't even stay in the house because she have touched it. She touch everything in the house. Now I can't even stay in there because everything is defiled. You understand? You gotta get over it and understanding what it's talking about. But anyway, let's go on. Leviticus 15:21. Whosoever touches her bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. It says, whosoever shall touch her bed shall wash his clothes. So basically, interaction with the blood, the spillage of the blood. It says if you interact and you encounter, you come in contact with the spillage of the blood, then you shall be unclean until the evening. What does that mean until the evening? Until the sundown. Because that's when the evening is. The evening is when the sundown, and the sundown automatically brings in a new day. So basically, you're going to be unclean until the next day, which is the sundown, which is the evening. Leviticus 15:22, and whosoever touches anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening, to the sundown, which brings in a new day. But it's not talking about when it says whosoever toucheth anything, like anything she interacts with, you can't touch. No, it's just talking about whosoever encounters anything the spillage of that woman issue of blood hits. That's what it's talking about. Let's continue to go on, right? Skip down for the sake of time because I have some old book chapter and verses to cover. All right. Let's look at Leviticus 15 and 29. And on the 8th day she shall take, and let's kind of skip back up. Leviticus 15:27. And whosoever touches those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. So basically, when she comes off a menstrual cycle, she comes off a period, she shall number 7 days. She counts 7 days, and after the 7 days, she shall be normal again. She shall be a full woman again, operating in feminism again, operating in feminism in the entirety of it. You understand? But long as she on her menstrual, she becomes a man. You understand? You understand? Like this right here. I'm going to go a little deep with it. Right? I'm going to go a little deep with it. Not too deep, but I'm going to go a little deep with it. Now watch this. This is Leviticus 20:13. It says, if a man also lie with man, as he lie with woman, both of them have committed abomination, and they shall surely be put to death, and their blood shall be upon them. Now that's homosexuality, right? If a man also lie with mankind as he lie with woman. Well, you can lie with mankind as you lie with woman if you lie with woman on her menstrual. That's why they call it the menstrual cycle. Because you can't spell menstrual cycle without men. So if you're gonna sexually indulge with your woman during her period of menstrual, basically you are sexually interacting with another man. It's deep, guys. That's why that woman has to be put out camp for a couple of days, man. It says menstrual cycle. Now, why do it say it's menstrual cycle? Because a cycle is annual. A cycle is continuous, right? And it happens every so often. Every month, a female enters at some time her menstrual cycle, or what you call her period, right? Every month. So it's a cycle because it happens every month. And every month is a couple of days where a woman becomes a man. But then after those couple of days are over, she operates in feminism again. And if that's not the case, the Bible says it's an abomination to lie with a woman on her sickness. And that's just like lying with another man. You understand? Let me, for instance, this is Leviticus 20 and 18. I think I read it all. I read it already, I think. Leviticus 20 and 18. It says, if a man shall lie with a woman on her sickness. You lie with a woman on her sickness, that's a man also lying with mankind as he lied with a woman. If you lie with a woman on her sickness, that's just like a man also lying with mankind as a woman. Don't get it twisted. So that's why it's outlawed concerning the Bible that a man shouldn't sexually interact with a woman during her period or her menstrual, because it's counted as the same as lying with mankind as you lying with a woman. All right? You understand, guys? Leviticus 18:22. This is Leviticus 18:22. It says, thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It's abomination. But if you want to have sexual intercourse with your woman on her period, you would be lying with mankind as you lying with womankind. And it's abomination because you shouldn't do that during the period of her sickness. She should be isolated a couple days. You understand? So homosexuality, guys, is not only literally two men sexually interacting with each other, but it can be counted as you lying with a woman on her sickness. That's why they call it the menstrual cycle. All right? Thought I'd share that with you guys. Don't have much to say. Now, a lot of camps says that this has been done away with, you know what I'm saying, in terms of the issue of blood. And when your woman comes on her menstrual cycle or her period, you know, according to the Bible, it says that she should be set aside for a couple of days. A lot of Israelite camps don't agree with this still being in effect because of the Levitical priesthood being ushered out. You understand? The Levitical priesthood being ushered out. So I'll show you that. Leviticus 15 as well. And let me start with Leviticus 15 and 16. If any man see the copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the evening, to the sundown. And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the evening. So that's talking about a man having a semen emission. You know what I'm saying? That's talking about man, the spillage of sperm. If a man see the copulation come out from him, that's talking about the cum, the nut, what we call sperm. You know what I'm saying? And so Leviticus 15:18. This is what I want to get to. The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean to the evening. That's talking about having sex. So a woman also with whom a man lie with the seed of copulation, they shall bathe themselves in water and be unclean to the evening. You understand? And so now, remember what I was telling you about that some Israelite camps don't agree with still carrying out this menstrual thing in terms of putting your woman out, isolating your woman because they feel like that the menstrual process dealing with Leviticus 15 has been ushered out concerning that the Messiah took away the Levitical priesthood when he offered himself up as a sacrifice on Calvary, right? Remember, because when the woman went on her issue of blood, she was unclean. And what did she have to do? This is Leviticus 15:29. And on the 8th day she shall take into her 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons, and bring them into the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Leviticus 15:30. And the priest shall offer the one up for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Lord for the issue of her uncleanness. So when a woman went on a menstrual, when a woman went on her period, you know what I'm saying, she was isolated those couple of days out the camp. It's like when she was restored, you understand, like before she was restored in entirety, before she was restored, it says that she had to go deal with a priest. And it says the priest would make an atonement for this woman concerning her what? Her period, or her menstrual. You see what I'm saying? And so now, we know that the Messiah, he has become high priest, and basically has become the ultimate atonement for the sins of the Israelite nation, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And so a lot of camps says that since the Levitical priesthood has been destroyed, then they not obligated to put their women out outside or whatever for 7 days. You understand? But some camps believe that this is still in full effect. But you be the judge, man. If you ask me, yes, the Levitical priesthood was destroyed when the Messiah offered himself up as the ultimate sacrifice. You understand? For the nation of Israel, fighting against the Roman Empire. So anyways, man, you be the judge, man, because this is Hebrews 9 and 8 right here. Hebrews 9 and 8. I'm going to show you that in the New Testament. Hebrews 9 and 8. It says, Hebrews chapter 9 verse 8. The Holy Ghost, this signifying that the way into the holiest of all was not yet made manifest, while as the first tabernacle was yet standing. And so that's talking about the Messiah, man, Yahushua. Yahushua was prophesied to come, way before the law of sacrifice was inaugurated. You know what I'm saying? He was, because he was kind of on the scene. If you want to go deep, he was kind of on the scene. He was on the scene in the beginning if you want to go deep. But I'm going to stay at the surface right now. But anyways, dealing with this, I wanted to point out this. This is Hebrews chapter 9. I'm going to read down to verse 10. Hebrews 9 and 9. Which was a figure for the time then present, in which was offered both gifts and sacrifice that could not make him that did the service perfect as pertaining to the conscience. And so basically, animal sacrifices couldn't make nobody perfect, man. And so we needed a better atonement. That was Yahushua the Messiah. And so that's what it's talking about in Hebrews 9 and 9. But going with Hebrews 9 and 10, it says, which stood only in meats. See what I'm saying? Which stood only in meats. What stood only in meats? The service of the Levitical priesthood. Because that was talking about, when it says we stood only in meats, that's talking about meat offering. We stood only in meats. We stood only in drinks. That's talking about drink offerings and diverse washings. See, only the Levitical priest can make an atonement for your soul dealing with that. And so, in figure for time to come, you know what I'm saying, which was for a figure or for the time then present, in which were offered both gifts and sacrifices that could not make him that did the service perfect pertaining to the conscience. Leviticus 9 and 10, which stood only in meat offerings, drink offerings, diverse washings. Now, diverse washings is dealing with the menstrual cycle, dealing with the period. Well, a woman had to go and see a Levitical priesthood in order to be restored. And diverse washings, it said, in diverse washings and carnal ordinances imposed on them until the time of reformation. Now, what is the time of reformation? The time of the Messiah, man. You see what I'm saying? So now since the Messiah has come, the Messiah has become high priest. You understand? So there's no need for you to go to an actual literal priest, in terms of your menstrual or your period. You see what I'm saying? There's no need for you to encounter an actual priest because the Messiah has come. And he became high priest. And so he ushered out the Levitical priesthood. But if you want to still continue with putting your woman aside for a couple days, dealing with this menstrual cycle process, be my guest, man. Be my guest, you see. Just a little extra before I close the video out. Going back to Leviticus 18 and 19, if you didn't understand it fully, Leviticus 18 and 19. So what is a transgender? Before we go any further, because what is a transgender? A transgender is a woman on her period. A transgender is nothing but a woman on her menstrual cycle. If you can grasp that, a transgender, a drag queen, a transvestite, a queer, it's nothing but a woman on her menstrual cycle or her period. That's what it is. But you got to have that third eye to be able to see. Because this is not for all of you. This is for the ones who see with the eye of intuition. You understand? So now let's go back. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to close it out with this. This is, again, Leviticus 18 and 19. Leviticus 18 and 19. Is it 18 and 19? Let's see. 18. See where I'm at. Let's see. Let's go to Leviticus 15:28. Leviticus 15:28. But if she be cleansed in her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. Now, like if she's menstruating, right? And after her menstrual stop, then she shall number herself 7 days, right? Whenever her cycle starts, she shall count 7 days, and she have to wait 7 days, and then the beginning of the 8th day is she can deal again sexually with her man. You understand? So she wait, even when her menstrual starts, she waits 7 extra days, and then she begin on that 8th day she can deal again sexually with her man. If that menstrual cycle stops, let's say if the menstrual cycle stops at Friday, she will have to be she will be clean the following Friday at evening on the 8th day after the 7-day process. You feel what I'm saying? Again, let's say today is Friday. I'm gonna make it real clear for you. Let's say today is Friday. She come off a menstrual today, and today is Friday. She come off a menstrual. She gotta wait 7 days. You understand? And on that 8th day, on that 8th day following that Friday at evening, she would be clean and she would be able to deal again with her man. You understand? And so now, I think that's all I had to say, man. I think that's all I had to say. Leviticus 12. Here go another one dealing with a woman giving birth to a man child. Leviticus 12, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Leviticus 12 and 2, speaking to the children of Israel, saying, if a woman have conceived seed and born a man child, a woman give birth to a boy, then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of her separation for her infirmity, she shall be unclean, right? And so this is dealing with a woman giving birth to a boy. If a woman bear a man child, which is a son, she shall be unclean 7 days. Verse 3 of Leviticus 12. And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised, because that's a law in Israel to have Israelite man child circumcised, right? Leviticus 12:4. And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days. She shall touch no hollow thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. And that's 33 days. That's 33 days, and that's fascinating because the Messiah died at the age of 33. The highest degree in masonry is 33. You understand? And so that's exactly how many days, a woman has to basically has to not deal, because it says she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days. She shall touch no hollow thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. Now, it says, and that's 33. That's basically 33 plus 7. Remember, because it was talking about it was talking about if a woman have conceived seed and born a man child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. So they go to 7. According to the days of the separation of her infirmity, she shall be unclean. And then on the 8th day, the flesh of the foreskin of the boy child shall be circumcised. And then it adds the 33 days. She shall touch no hollow thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. So that's 33 plus 7. So a total of 40 days a woman is not to have sex after she gives birth to a man child, or what you call her son or her boy. 40 days a woman cannot have sex after she gives birth to her man child. Now, what about the maid child, the female? What about her daughter? Right? It says Leviticus 12:5. But if she bear a maid child, that's a daughter or girl, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks as in her separation, and she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days. That's 66 days without having sex. You understand? But we got to add some more days. You understand? Because it says 2 weeks. And 2 weeks is 14 days. Remember, we came across that in Leviticus 12:5. But if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks. That's 14. That's 14 days. Plus the 66 days. So that's 66 plus 14 is a total of 80 days. So after a woman give birth to a maid child or her daughter or her little girl, she cannot have sexual intercourse for 80 days, man. She can't have sexual intercourse for a total of 80 days. If a woman give birth to her maid child, her little girl, she cannot have sexual dealings with her husband for 80 days. If a woman give birth to a man child, her son, her little boy, she cannot have sexual dealings with her husband for a total of 40 days. So this is why men had more than one woman back in biblical times, man, because other women can hold them down while they restricted in terms of whether she had a boy, you can't have sex with her 40 days. If she had a daughter, you couldn't have sex with her total of 80 days. They can turn to they secondary wives, man, and keep it moving. This was the over-entering understanding of polygamy back in biblical times. You feel me? And so, that's all I had to say, man. Yeah. So that's all I had to say. I believe that's it. So I hope you got something out of the lesson, guys. I hope something was said that you can grasp, that you can benefit from, help other brothers and sisters as well. Share this video again with family and friends on the behalf of Solid Foundation Israelite Academy. Thank you for watching. Again, please subscribe if you will, and I'll see you guys in the next edition. I am your host, Shabar Israel. Shalom.